Erin coming to you from Cloud Expo in Santa Clara, California. And I'm joined today by John Monson, who is Vice President of Marketing at Mellanox Technologies. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Erin. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So what does Mellanox have to do with the cloud?
Well, we provide the physical infrastructure that helps deliver higher performance and lower cost infrastructure to cloud providers, whether that be an internal or external. And what I mean by delivering infrastructure is we do the adapters, we do switches, and we do even the cabling that connects those so that the physical resources in compute and in storage can be connected in the most efficient way. Part of how we deliver that is by delivering it at very high bandwidth, low latency. We require very little CPU cycles to work with it, and also the fundamental economics of that drive a more efficient data center or cloud.
Okay. Can you give us an example of the benefits of that, or someone that is benefiting from that directly?
So if you look at, for example, probably the most proliferated example would be Oracle. Mm-hmm. Oracle Exalogic uses Mellanox InfiniBand. It's 40 gigabit per second connectivity, and it connects the servers to the storage. And they've created software that takes the most advantage of that very efficient interconnect. They also use it on Exadata as well. And one of the benefits that you look at when you build out the technology is that they get an increase in performance by a factor of 10, mm-hmm. and a infrastructure reduction by half. So half the infrastructure, half the number of servers to produce 10x the performance.
Okay. And in fact, I understand that you recently were the recipient of the HBC Cloud Award. Tell us about that.
So actually, the technology applies to many markets, and Oracle is an example of the enterprise data center. But the same technology is actually used in high-performance computing. And so we received an award from HPC in the cloud for innovation. And some of the examples that we've done is we help build out cloud infrastructures in the high-performance computing such that they can deliver capabilities to scientists around the world, and they treat it as a cloud so that scientists can come in and do their simulations, weather patterns, biotech simulations, etc. And we've built out a couple of different clouds. We just announced with Beijing Computing Center, mm-hmm. In Beijing, China, and also with in August with University of Cambridge.
Okay, great. We were talking earlier about what is driving the adoption of cloud. Talk a little bit about performance and storage and how that relates to cloud.
So when I'm delivering a cloud infrastructure, I need to be able to deliver a structure to a company. I'm not always sure what application is going to run. That application could be a simulation. It could be a database application that requires a huge amount of bandwidth between compute and storage. It could demand a lot of capabilities relative to the interaction between the compute nodes, for example. At the same time, I may have another application that has lower requirements. Well, obviously, my infrastructure has to meet the requirements of the high performance application as well as the low one.
Right.
So I kind of think about it as the lowest common denominator, right? I need to be able to handle a high performance application of any form, but I also need to be able to scale it. And that's one of the things in cloud is when I'm delivering a service level agreement, it usually comes down to performance. Is it available, right? Can I scale it? What if my application, what if I'm doing a web event and my event scales and demands requirements that go by a factor of 2? Mm-hmm. Can you scale on a moment's notice? Can you do it on a dynamic basis? And then what does it cost me per user? And one of the premises we look at is that the infrastructure is fundamental in delivering that kind of performance and in meeting those SLAs, and they're growing significantly.
Okay, great. And before we wrap up, what is next on the agenda for Mellanox in 2011?
Well, we'll continue to push the envelope for delivering products that have efficiency gains. We continue to add CPU offload functionality, for example, both in high-performance computing and in the enterprise that can further increase that efficiency. Any kind of efficiency gains is, essentially ROI to any of the service providers.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with John Monson, who is Vice President of Marketing for Mellanox Technologies. I'm Erin Harrison at Cloud Expo in Santa Clara, California.